First of all, I want to send a big shout out. If you're just joining me, I'm live from Atlanta. I'm at the home of my Masonic brother, undisclosed location. Oh man, today's topic. And I know some of you probably still at work. I got it. But I just had to go live. I just had to just do this for me today. Because we were sitting around talking about masonry and some of the things that we've come across and the enjoyment of Bible. Let me tell you, brother, masonry is truly a progressive science. Anything you got to say, it's a progressive science. So the way Mason was a long time ago, it has been switched, and here we are. Like I said, I'm in Atlanta right now. I'm in an undisclosed location, and man, watch out. There you go. There you go. It's nice. That's all I gotta say. It's nice. But we're gonna get on to this today because man, I didn't expect to go live this early. I was trying to wait, but I got kind of excited. I'm not gonna lie to you. I got kind of excited after this information was shared with me. So, hey, Grandmaster Larry Diamond, thank you for coming on. I want you to be able to hold everything down. I didn't even call you to tell you I was coming on. I got so excited. Let me tell you, today's show is going to be about the progressiveness of Freemasonry. And I'm going to tell you where you can go find this information now, because a lot of people think, oh, he's just be talking. No, not today, sir. So the first thing I want you to check out is Mackey's jurisprudence, okay? The landmarks of Freemasonry, where it says that, and yet there can be no doubt that like every other science, Freemasonry is progressive in its character. It says it must of necessity be influenced by the progression of the age, meaning that Freemasonry changes. It progresses with the ages. The only thing that doesn't change in Freemasonry is grips, signs, passwords. Doesn't change. Grips, signs, that's the mode of recognition from one Mason to the next. Be it male or female. That's the truth. Oh, he said male or female. Yeah, we're gonna touch on that today too. And you gonna be you gonna feel a certain way after the day. That's all I gotta say. After the day, you gonna feel a certain way. So please, whatever you do right now, just hit the thumbs up button for me. If you don't mind, hit that button for me, because we're about to get into this work today. And that's the honest truth. I'm trying to get this set up a little bit more for me. I think that's gonna do it right there. So as we begin to come on, show your face, man. Check this out. Yes, indeed. I got my boy Melvin Little here today, and we gonna get this work in. We gonna get this work in today, for sure. So look, we gonna kick this off with 1856. Mackey's jurisprudence, where it talks about the progressive of Freemason, the science of Freemason, meaning that it doesn't stay the same. It's forever changing and adapting unto the ages for which it finds itself. This is why when we see Masonry in the ancient times, it's nothing like it is today. Nothing like it is today. And to show you that, we're going to look at some of the ancient manuscripts of Freemasons, such as the Regius manuscripts of 1390. I'm talking about before 1717. Let's take a look at 1390, those manuscripts. And check this out. So the 1390 Regius manuscripts clearly states that females were Masons. That manuscript says that females were Masons. And you're probably saying, Brother Hawkins, you lost your mind. No way. Yes way. You can look this up for yourself. Regius manuscripts. Regius manuscript. You can look this up for yourself. Now check this out. It says in Regius manuscript 1390, it says the ancient society was all male, and it was for a reason, except that it wasn't. It wasn't all male. All right. This is 1390 through 1450. Now, in the verses out of Regius manuscripts, it says that honest craft to be perfect And so each one shall teach the other in love, togetherness as sisters and brothers. This is out of the Regis manuscript. This is some of the oldest manuscript that we have of Freemasonry in 1390.
Oldest ritual.
Okay? Now, I'm going to tell you something else it says. In verses 201 to 204, this is out of the Regis manuscript. It says the 10th article is for it to be known amongst the craft, to the high and to the low. There should be no master, supplant another, but together as sisters and brothers. They're saying there should be no masters unless you're setting together as sisters and brothers. This is out of the Regis manuscript. You can go and check it out for yourself. I'm just saying. Now, check this out. It goes on to say in verses 359 to 362 that no cavern be made, okay, to thee, nor to thy fellows in no degree, to men or to women, whomever he be, pay them well and truly for what they will we. This is out of the Regis manuscript. They're saying that no cavern, you know, Masons used to meet at the cavern, okay, or some may say tavern, be made to thee, nor they fellow in no degree, to men or to women, whomever he may, pay them well and truly for what they will. I'm just saying, this is out of the Regis manuscript. Hear me clearly. I keep repeating that because I want you to go look it up for yourself so you can check it out. So, just saying greetings to everybody who's popping up. I hope that we get something out of this today, man. I'm just excited about the information I've come across. It's not that it hadn't been always here, but it's being shared with me today. And I'm like, dude, I got to do this. I got to do this like today. Like today. Hear me clearly today while it's hot on my mind, right? Now, with that being said, that's the Regis manuscript 1390. Now, 1410, Cook manuscript 1410. All right? Coke does the body good. Now, check this out. So we're talking about Cook manuscript in 1910. They are using the story of Noah and his sons and family in the Masonic order. This is 1410, Cook manuscript. So let's not twist. Masonry has changed from what we call the old customs into this new age thing for what we find ourselves. It's the truth. That's Cook manuscript 1410. That's another set. Now, let's look at 1630 to 1607. All right. This is called what's this? The this manuscript.
That's the Harlean.
Harlean manuscript. Harlean manuscript. 1660 to 1670. That's another piece of manuscript. I'm just showing you how Masonry has progressively changed over the age. Who wrote the women out of Masonry? That's something you got to ask yourself. If we're talking 1390, and we know that female were Masons according to the oldest manuscript that we know of, and maybe some older. Female were Masons, but they got written out. Who wrote them out? I'm just saying.
I think you're going to get to that.
All right. So as we go through the Harlean manuscript of 1660 to 1607, is no Masonic old charters dated to 1660 to 1670. The documents mention Masonic duties owed to dames. Dames is a female. The title significantly for a woman, master of the craft. The Freemasons of this fraternity actually swore oath to obey, respect, and honor the woman, master mason, dames. Boom. That's where that word dames come from. You know how do you say that? Dames, D-A-M-E-S, 1660 to 1670. That's the Harlan manuscript, 1942. It is a Masonic old charge dated. They're saying this document mentions Masonic duties owed to the dame. The dame is a female. Title solidifying a woman master of the craft. The female, the Freemasons of the fraternity actually swore an oath to obey and respect and honor a woman, master, mason, a dame.
WM, basically saying.
This is true. You can go get this. 1670 to 1660 to 1670. This is true. You know? Greetings, everybody who's showing up. I appreciate you. I know it's early in the day, wherever you're at. I appreciate you for tuning in. But this is just one of them things that was hot. This is like fire. I'm just telling you, it was hot. Melvin may want me to add something to that, but not right now, brother. I'm just saying. I'm just saying, man. Look, it goes on to state that no person shall be accepted a Freemason or know the secrets of the said society until he has first taken the oath of secrecy hereafter following. Now, this is 1670. 1660 to 1670. This is before the Grand Lodge of England or whatever this is before their time. Okay, it says that no person shall be accepted a Freemason or know the secrets of the society until he has first taken the oath of secrecy hereafter following. Here's the oath of secrecy that they had to take. You shall truly honor God in his holy church, the king, your master, and dames. You shall not obsess yourself, but with the license of both or one of them for their services day by day or night. The next one, you shall not disclose your master or dame, their counsel or secrecy, which they have inputted into you, or what is being concealed, spoken, or done within the precinct of their house by them, either of them, or any Freemason. You shall not hunt or frequent any tavern. Listen to what it says. You should not hunt or frequent any tavern, okay, or such as go into any of them except your master or dame there, and let me say, except your master or dame there or any their affairs, or without their or any of their consent. You look, you couldn't even go to a tavern unless the dame or the master wanted you to be there. Now this is called the Harlem Manuscript, 1942, but actually was 1660 to 1670. Who wrote women out of Freemasonry? Freemasonry is a progressive science, right? Forever changing, right? And now we're finding out, this is 2000s, we're finding out that females were Masons long beforehand, that male and female sat in lodge together, and then we come up with this concept that, oh, females can't be Masons. Who wrote them out of Masonry? Who wrote them out? Somebody had to write them out. I'm just saying, somebody wrote them out of Freemasonry. The question is, who did it? And not only that, why would they do it? Why would they want to write the female out of Freemasonry? That's really my question. You know, what was done so crazy that they had to write them out?
It's getting real hot.
You know, and you have to ask yourself your question. You just can't sit idly by and just be like, well, whatever. No, it's not a whatever. No, time out's for whatever. Now, check this out. Let's go on and see what's happening. Now, the sources that I'm giving you, I'm telling you where I found them at, okay? That was 1660 to 1670. That was a Harlan manuscript, okay? That's where I got this information from. Now, let's look at 1680, the Lodge of Hope manuscript. See, these are various manuscripts that we find. You can come over here and have a seat, bro. You ain't got to peek around the corner. You just come on over here and have a seat.
Right, let's say you on fire.
You just come on and have a seat. So now we're looking at another manuscript. Yeah, 1680. It's called the Lodge of Hope manuscript. It is a Masonic old charge dated to 1680 that mentions Masonic duties owed to the dame, to the woman. Damn. Woman masters of the craft, the Freemasons of this fraternity swore an oath to obey and respect the woman master mason, dames. That was in 1680. I'm just looking at all of this. Now, let's clear the air. According to my oath and obligation, I said, look, y'all know what it says. I can go into that a little deeper, but it was some things that they left out that they didn't really put in there. But we're going to go on for that.
And ain't nobody's oath and obligation that much different. I don't care.
No, it ain't.
I'm sorry for cutting you off.
That's all right. So, check this out. So it says the Lodge of Hope manuscript, the apprentice is charged that he shall be true to God and the holy church, the king, his master, and dames who he shall serve, that he shall not steal or pick away his master or dame's good, absent from him from their service, nor go from them about his own pleasure, by night without license of them. Meaning that if you were a Mason in 1680 and you was traveling, you needed permission from your master of the lodge, which was a dame. This is old manuscript. So don't get it twisted and say, well, brother, no. We're talking ancient customs. 1660 is ancient to me. That's a long time ago.
Right now. You are not talking opinions right now.
Absolutely. This is not my opinion. This is not my opinion. I'm reading to you of ancient customs and things that was taking place before 1717. And I'm just trying to find out and ask the question. Masonry being a progressive science, which we say it is. Who wrote female Masons out of it? Who wrote them out?
I think you're going to get to that.
I'm just saying. Now, 1693. 1693 is the York manuscript. 1693. This is before. Now, the other manuscripts I've already passed on to you, I've already talked about, was before 1717. So we're talking 1693. Before the Grand Lodge as we know it, that system. All right. There were Masons. We're talking 1693 York manuscript. It says, it is a Mason in an old charge dated in 1693. This document mentioned the procedure for administering an initiatory oath for a woman.
What? There ain't no women in Masons.
Man, you
in Masons?
Man, you better stop. We're talking York manuscript.
Is this your opinion?
No, this is not my opinion. I'm just telling you what I got in front of me.
Oh, okay. I'm just asking for it.
I'm talking before, and you're probably like, this guy here has lost his mind. I ain't lose my mind. I'm sharing with you information that's probably hadn't been shared with you. Well, you may know it. I don't even know. But it's not my opinion. It's not my opinion at all. It says this. It says one of the elders taking the book that he or she that is to be made a Mason shall lay their hands thereon, and the charges shall be given. It says he or she. This is 1693 York manuscript.
Are they talking about men that had sex changes?
Oh, brother, let me talk to you. Now we're going to hit 1716, the Grand Lodge of England, or afterwards the United Grand Lodge of England. After the rebellion over AD 1716, few lodges at London finding themselves neglected by Sir Christopher Warren, though fit to cement together under a Grand Master. Okay? There were lodges out there. They wanted to be under what they call a Grand Master at the time, 1716. A year before they got to 1717. And then they don't even know if it was actually 1717 that this thing was organized.
Yeah, because Sir Christopher wasn't treating them right.
No.
So those guys decided
that
they wanted to come together.
Those guys decided that. Because the Grand Master at the time, Sir Christopher Warren, wasn't treating them right. So you know what they did? They met at the Goose Gabriel Allen House, the St. Paul Church. Then at the Crown of Ali House in Parker. Parker Lane, right?
Yeah, Ale House, yeah.
Ale House near Parker Lane. Then they went to Apple Tree Tavern. They met at 3 places. And we only hear about one of them, but they met at 3 places. They met at 4 places. Okay. I was just showed it was 4 places that they met up. Let me go. They met at the Goose in Gabriel Allen House in St. Paul. Then they met at the Crown Ale House. Now, granted, all of these are taverns. These are bars they met in at.
And they were
okay?
most likely brothels in them or around the corner. Or right across the street.
And then after they did that, check this out. I said they met at the Apple Tree Tavern, which we hear about that all the time. That's Charles Street. And then they met at the what's that? Romer?
Yeah, Romer and Grape.
Yeah, Roman and Grape Tavern. That's 4 places they met. 4 places. We only hear one of them, but they met at 4 places. All right?
And they're the ones that formed the system.
And they the one that formed the system.
17.
Now, 1717, they had a tavern to get towed up. You can read this. This is in their history. They was at a tavern. They was drinking. All right?
Did they have the regalia?
They had no regalia. None. No regalia. When they organized the Grand Lodge of England, the premier Grand Lodge of England of 1717, they didn't have any Masonic regalia.
Wasn't the United Grand Lodge of England?
No.
Oh,
it was premier Grand Lodge of England.
Oh, okay.
Okay? That's what they organized.
Oh. So they were called the Premier Grand Lodge of England.
Premier Grand Lodge of England,
So
1717.
not the United Grand Lodge.
It is not the United Grand Lodge of England.
Okay.
Let's get that straight. And now, 1721 to 1729, 1725, thank you. Ritualistics in France doing side degrees.
What? Is that like hustling stuff?
They were doing side degrees in France.
What is that?
Bruh, you got, man, you see what you done did? See what you done did? They had side degrees. They was doing the thing, all right? So, now let's get on with this here. He said Masonry became very popular between 1721 to 1725. Masonry like exploded, all right? Masonry became very popular around this time, and the craft passed over the channels of France, where many rituals. We move that. Go ahead. There you go. That'll work. Okay. Where many rituals. Let me see. I don't want to lose my place. Where many rituals were invented. Numerous side degrees that were subject to no governing body. So they hawked them. They hawked them. Yeah, they hawked them about the countries and through the continents.
What hawks? They just
man,
they was just
they made up, man, they made up some shit. Excuse my language. They made up some degrees.
What?
From 1721 to 1725, they was making up degrees. They was making up degrees.
Where were they making them from?
Bruh, they was coming out of thin air.
Oh.
They was making up degrees. They were, in other words, let me change
system?
that. Let me change that. It was not that they was making up degrees. They was progressive.
Oh, okay.
Because Masonry is a progressive science, right?
Oh, okay.
So they was progressive. As they began to learn and to study for themselves, they put it into the framework of degree work. But they was hawking them, meaning that they was selling them.
Selling them?
Yeah, I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
You like John Back?
Yes. Like John Back. Yeah.
I just threw a name out there. I'm sorry.
I'm just saying. The dames were the wives of the master of kings or patrons who commissioned the work. So of course she was respected. And of course she was a Mason. I'm just saying. So DB, yeah, so brother DB, if you're a brother or not, I'm just saying, you're right. They were to be respected, but they were Masons. That's all I'm saying. And this is not of my point of view. This is based on the information that's probably been out there for years and ages. And, we just took it for granted that, hey, women can be Masons. But we know for a fact that over in France and overseas, women were, of course, Masons. They've always been Masons. That's why you very rarely find Eastern Stars overseas. But we here in the United States find them to be clandestine or irregular or bogus. But we know that's changing too, because just here recently, the Grand Lodge of England, as we know it today, just said, yeah, you know what? Their work is regular. They're just irregular. They didn't call them clandestine, nor did they call them bogus. And how would you know that somebody's work was regular or irregular unless you've seen it for yourself?
Are they meeting at the UGLE?
They are meeting at the UGLE. Oh. I'm just saying, if you want to identify female Masons as being regular and bogus, or whatever you want to call them, unless you go and watch them do their work, how are you going to identify their works? You have to be there to see it. In large. You have to. That's the only way you can say, well, this person or this group is irregular or their group is bogus. But, however, let's move on. So, as I was saying, 1721 and 1725, Masonry exploded. It exploded. All right? Now, the premier Grand Lodge of England, the Book of Constitution, everybody liked to hit on that. 1723. Everybody likes to hit on that, right? The third degree was added.
When was that?
It was added in 1725.
Oh, so it was only
two degrees at one time. They added the third degree in 1725.
Is that a progression?
That is progressive, isn't it not? It is progressive. Masonry is a progressive science. They added the third degree in 1725. Yes, sir.
I also heard that in their constitution that they wrote, that's when they wrote women out in the first constitution.
That's why we're here right now.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Their constitution, they wrote the females out.
No.
They wrote them out.
Oh, wow. Okay.
They wrote them out.
The first constitution.
When they wrote the constitution as we know it, let's look at this premier Grand Lodge of England, 1723. When they wrote their constitution, they wrote the females out.
So the premier Grand Lodge, not the United Grand Lodge of England.
Not them.
The premier Grand Lodge.
Yes.
That doesn't exist anymore.
That's right.
Okay.
Wrote them out.
Okay, I just wanted to, I'm sorry. I'm listening.
No, you all right with me, brother. You all right with me. It's just that sometimes when you come across information and it's shared with you, like today, I had to get this out.
Okay. And they added the Master Mason.
And they added the Master Mason degree in 1725
when all these other degrees was running around.
Man, we're going to get to that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
We're going to get to them other degrees. There's some degrees out there that you probably never heard of.
You ain't got no proof.
Because let me tell you, like I've said all...
I can't prove that.
Bruh, like I say all the time, in the United States, we practice American Freemasonry. Period. That's what we practice. We practice what someone gave us and said, this is Freemasonry. And if you want to be recognized or whatever, this is how you have to practice it. So we practice an Americanized Freemasonry with the Holy Bible, the square, and the compass on the altar. And that's not true.
What if I want the Quran?
Well, we're going to get to that.
Okay.
We're going to get to if you want the Quran there. We're going to get to that.
Some people in America say if it ain't the Bible, it don't count.
That's a lie. 1725, the Grand Lodge of Ireland pops up. That's 1725. Then after that, you have the Grand Lodge of Scotland, 1736. These Grand Lodges are coming to life, ain't they? Then,
is that a progression?
That is a progression. Now they moving. They moving.
They coming together?
Brother, they ain't coming together. They coming up separately.
Right, but I'm saying, are they coming together? When they form these Grand Lodges, the lodges are starting to clump together.
No, brother. You got yours and I got mine.
Yeah, but they all clumping together separately then.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They're progressively changing.
Okay.
You know. So once again, check this out. Let's dig into this. So you have the premier Grand Lodge of England. All right?
What was that?
That was in 1723. You had a premier Grand Lodge of England.
Right. That's in the Constitution.
Okay, that's 1723, the Constitution, which written out the women's, right? Then 1725, they add the third degree.
Boom. Out of thin air.
Out of thin air. After 1725, they add the third degree. Then boom, the Grand Lodge of Ireland is here. 1725. After 1725, with the Grand Lodge of Ireland, boom, 1736, the Grand Lodge of Scotland. Okay, from the Grand Lodge of Scotland, boom, 1751, ancient Grand Lodge of England is formed.
Wait a minute, but England already got a Grand Lodge. Stop.
No, brother man.
So what was
the
they
ancient
considered?
Grand Lodge of England, they were considered to be bogus, according to the premier Grand Lodge of England.
No. Hold on, stop, man.
Oh my God. They was considered to be bogus. The ancient Grand Lodge of England was considered to be bogus.
What? So it was two Grand Lodges?
There's two Grand Lodges in England.
And they were considered to be spurious?
Mm-hmm.
And who considered them to be spurious?
the premier Grand Lodge of England.
Oh, where's the United Grand Lodge of England?
Oh, it'll come along later.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
And that's the craziest thing. Now check this out. if we're saying that the Grand Lodge of England is saying that, hey, United Grand Lodge of England, we often hear 1717, right? And then they're not really sure if it's 1717. All right. But here we are, 1751, the ancient Grand Lodge of England.
So were they doing the first, second, and third degree too?
Ooh.
Were they doing the first, second, third degree, or was they doing royal art degrees only?
They were actually Royal Arts degree only.
Hold on, wait a minute. How does that? So they were making master masons through the royal art?
They was making master masons through the Royal Art.
Okay, well.
They was making master masons through the Royal Art. I'm just saying.
What about the first 3 degrees though that the premier was
doing? Well, the premier invented the master mason work. The ancient had the Royal Art work.
Oh.
So
they wasn't doing the first 3 degrees like the premier?
No, they were not.
And they were both in England?
And they was both in England.
Okay.
Oh, shut the front door,
brother.
somebody. Shut the front
door. Is this your opinion?
No. This is out here for everybody to get.
Okay, all right. I'm sorry. Go
This
ahead.
is not my opinion.
Finish up, my brother.
This ain't my opinion. I'm just saying this is not my opinion at all. Brother Tony, greetings from the ancient order of Imhotep, House of Pat. Brother, how you doing today? I'm going back. Brother Lewis, a book called Freemason Spiritually, Alchemy, Spiritually Freemason series talks about those meetings. Brandon Lewis, you would be one. And you would be one. Here's a huge secret that I am going to provide due to your respect for truth. Okay, all right, share it. All right, whatever you got, you share it. If we understand the craft, women do not have to be Freemason. They already naturally are builders. Brother, it's not even that. I get what you're saying. Through a woman, a nation is born. Got it. But we're talking about the craft itself and where we're at today. The documentation in regards to female Freemasons, in regards to what we see right now. Because they've been written out. Let's just be honest. Even in the Bible, women was written out.
So it's a female degression, but a male progression.
Correct.
Okay, I'm just asking.
No, that is absolutely correct. Okay. They wrote the women out of the Bible, and they're written them out of Freemasonry. They're written women out of a lot of things that we would never know. Okay?
So that means if Mary Magdalene had nuts, she might have been an apostle.
She might,
because
she
conducted
if
the
Mary,
miracles.
Yes. If Mary Magdalene would have had some
miracles,
balls,
but she didn't have balls, so she was just the whore?
Yeah, they consider her a whore.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Let me let you stay on Mason.
But anyway,
that's another story.
That's another story. So in 1751, the ancients come along. Okay, they were considered bogus, suspicious, according to Premier Grand Lodge of England. That's 1751.
So does that mean that they wouldn't? So the Premier Grand Lodge didn't consider them to be Masons.
No, they didn't.
So they would never unite then, because they're not Masons. You can't unite.
You can't You
can't unite with someone that you don't consider a Mason.
You can't renounce.
I mean, unite.
You got me all tongue twisted, brother.
I'm just asking. If they're not Masons, you can't unite with them, can you?
Hey.
And they're doing the royal art.
Doing the royal art.
So the royal art, it was, according to the Premier Grand Lodge, it was not Masonry.
Wasn't.
Okay, I'm sorry, sir. Go ahead and finish.
According to, it wasn't.
I stand corrected.
But that was the agreement. Now here's hype man is on point. Now here's well, I'm so damn tough. Here's a point I want to get across to you. The point I want to make is that so you had the royal art and the ancients, and then you had the premier to add the master mason degree that they created. All right, and they couldn't get along. One considered the other bogus or unrecognized.
So if the ancient was spurious / bogus, that means that the royal art is bogus, right?
Whoa, yeah.
I'm just asking.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I know you're doing a lecture here,
but check it out.
I'm asking.
Here was the agreement. When they decided to come together, here was the agreement. The Premier Grand Lodge said, well, we don't really too much care for your royal arts degree, because that's considered our master mason degree. So they flipped it. So what they did what they did was they said, okay, you can keep You can keep your Royal Arch degree. We'll do the Master Mason,
that's
but they
not
can't
Mason.
come together.
That's spurious.
They can't come together. So we'll have your Royal Arch degree to be part of what we call appending bodies.
Oh. So all of a sudden they hit a switch and said, bingo. The Royal Arch now exists in its own right.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay.
Don't run now. Don't run now. I ought to put you on camera. Come on. No? All right. We live here, baby, because this is hot. Now look, them 25 degrees you call in Mason, them 25. It's 25 of them. Well, it's actually more than that, but they actually talk about 25.
That was like 10, 20,000 years ago, right?
Man, let me tell you, the chapter of Clement, all right, was a chapter of advanced degrees in the initiate intel. 6 degrees were later extended to 25 degrees. The 6th
25?
It went from 6 degrees to 25. The 6 initiated degrees were 1, 2, and 3. That was St. John's Masonry. 4 Knights of the Eagle. 5 the illustrious Knights of the Temple. 6 sublime illustrious Knights. Now, with that being said, the Scottish Rite, had its beginning in France in 1754.
So Scottish Rite in France.
Scottish Rite is in
Not
France.
in Scotland.
Not in Scotland, baby.
Okay.
The Scottish Rite, as we knew it, started in France.
By
1754, the College of Clement in Paris, in a chapter of 25 so-called high degrees.
So-called. That means
So-called.
it was just some hustle type.
Brother, they was doing a thing.
Okay.
So this college was a sort of refuge for the statuettes of Scotland or Scotland.
Okay, so you had the Scottish guys in France.
In France.
Just shucking and jiving degrees. So
Yep.
all this old debonair stuff was really just some guys,
Man,
shooting and booting.
brother, let me say you something. Let me sell you some degrees real quick. I'm
Well,
gonna call you a Scottish Rite
I
Mason.
got a little money, Mr.
Hey,
Bad.
I'm just saying. So the rites of perfection, the 25 degrees, the rites of 25 degrees. Early writing believed that the rites of perfection consisted of 25 degrees, the highest being the sublime prince of the royal secrets, and being the predecessor of the Scottish Rite, had been formed in Paris.
In Paris?
In Paris.
The Scottish Rite?
It's formed in Paris.
Nigga.
Formed in Paris by a high degree council calling itself the Council of Empires of the East and West. Okay? It was the Council of the Empires of the East and West. The title, The Rites of Perfection, first appeared in the prefix of the Grand Lodge Constitution of 1786.
Oh, that's when it first appeared. It wasn't before the birth of Christ?
1786, bro.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I thought you was
1786.
talking about before the birth of Christ.
1786.
Okay. And that was in France?
That was in France.
By the Scotsmen?
By the Scotsmen.
So we call it Scottish Rite, but it was developed in France.
It was in France, yes.
But it wasn't developed in Scotland.
No.
Okay.
You follow me right now? That was in the Constitution of 1786.
So why don't we call it the France Rite? The Scottish France
And
Rite.
guess what else?
What?
The author for which these degrees to be presented to us are unknown.
Oh, they're now known to be faulty?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they faulty.
Does faulty mean fixed or does faulty mean fake?
Ooh, it depends on who you're talking to. It depends on who you're talking to, man. Please hit the thumbs up button. I appreciate it. Brother Hawkins, you've been doing your research. Wow. Hey, brother, when information comes to you, you just got to make it do what it do. You just got to put it up there. Because let me tell you, a lot of us here in America that practice Freemasonry, we want to just, I don't know, man. It's crazy. But the information is there for us all to see, to have for ourselves. But you know what happens? A lot of times, people shut the front door on you and tell you, no, you don't need to see this. And they close the door on you. Now, it's 2020. The front door is open. I may be your worst nightmare now.
So what's up with the origin of Scottish Rite then? What's the dates on that?
1754 to 1762 is the origin of the Scottish Rite Freemason as we know it today.
You mean in France though, right? Or in Scotland?
Let's take a look. 1740. What's that? Chivalry?
Chevalier.
Yeah, Chevalier. Oh, by the way, you can find this information out in your Scottish Rite Volume 1 and 2, if you would just open up and read it.
Look at that. And also in the Scottish Rite Albert Pike Mole.
All you gotta do is open the book. It's right there. It gives you that history. Oh my
Is that your
God.
words or their words?
It's their words. It's not mine. Okay? And let's check this out. In 1786, the reorganization took place. The reorganization.
That means it was together. They had to do it again.
Yeah. You know, they
Well, is that a progression or is that a
there's
digression?
a progression. This is
Okay.
why we're saying masonry is a progressive science.
So
It
they have
keeps
to do it
flipping.
again.
It keeps, hey, brother, we ain't like that. Let's tear that up. Let's change some things. Let's add some stuff.
Okay.
All right?
All
They
right.
keep progressing. They keep moving forward. First, they progressed for the men by writing the women out.
They wrote the women out?
After they wrote the women out, then they said, okay, this is really a man's thing. Then they go to
But
then
it
they go
wasn't
to
really a
France.
man thing, but it was a man
no,
thing. So it was a digression for the women to be wrote out.
in a progression for the men to say this is ours.
Oh.
This is
Like how they did the 12 apostles,
Yes,
and they wrote
yes.
out Mary Magdalene.
They
I'm
wrote her
sorry.
out.
Okay, all right.
they wrote out. They
Because she don't have no nuts.
no nuts. Well, she had ovaries, except she just dropped.
But those are not nuts.
You know, no.
Compared to
Yeah.
men.
Okay, all right. So let's look at 1786, the reorganization that took place, which the H degrees were added.
8 more degrees?
8
add on
more
top of
degrees was
25?
added in
Where did they
1786.
come from?
Brother, we are
Did
progressing.
they find them in the cave? Were they sitting in Egypt?
Brother, we sitting around a table, we chopping it up, we like, you know what? I think, man, if we just added that into this degree, we'll
So
call
what
it.
happened when they added those 8 degrees?
Okay, so what happened was the name changed to the ancient accepted Scottish Rite Freemasonry. By these constitutions, Frederick resigned and Frederick reassigned. Okay.
Oh, reassigned.
Yeah, he reassigned the Grand Commandery, which title he had held since the adoption of the Grand Constitution of 1762. Okay, his Masonic progressive with the council of each nation to be composed of a sovereign Grand Inspector General of the 33rd and last degree.
The last degree? That means he can't do no more?
They say you can't do no more, but
That's
we
not
gonna
progressive.
look. They said this was the ancient and accepted Scottish Rite 33rd degree. That was it. There was no more, but there were
Well,
more.
Masonry is a progressive sign?
Bruh,
Okay.
we're
All
gonna find out later that they flipped that too. They changed that too. There was
Brother
more.
Muhammad, you own something
They
today, you gonna
flipped
get
that too.
ridiculed.
Now, let's move on to 1784, African Lodge 459.
They was with the United Grand Lodge of England, wasn't they?
No. They was with Premier Grand Lodge.
Is the Premier Grand Lodge, does that still exist?
Doesn't exist.
Oh, you mean 459 had no lineage to the United Grand Lodge of England?
Absolutely no connection to the United Grand Lodge of England.
No way.
Look, we know this. This is factual. African Lodge number 459.
But that's some people's whole claim to fame of legitimacy.
That's a false claim.
What? So when did African Lodge 459 exist?
Under the Premier Grand Lodge of England.
In what year?
That was, I gotta go back. Let's see.
Under what year is that?
1784.
Whoa.
1784.
So in 1784, 459 existed. That means 459 existed before the United Grand Lodge of England.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right.
If you really want to be technical, yes. As we know it today, African Lodge 459 is actually older than the Grand Lodge of England.
So did they respect the ancient Grand Lodge of England?
Hell no.
But they were doing royal art, which is York Rite. So were they doing royal art in 1784?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, they was doing
African Lodge 459 was doing royal art?
No, no. They was only doing the first 3 degrees.
Oh, so they didn't do
The
royal art,
They didn't.
which is York Rite.
Which is York Rite.
Oh, okay.
They only was doing the first 3. Now check this out. You know they had to write a letter. They wrote a letter to the United Grand Lodge of England. Although they came from the Premier Grand Lodge of England.
Is United and Premier the same thing?
No, sir. No, sir.
Oh, okay.
No, sir.
Okay.
Hear me clearly. And
I'm
I
hearing
can
you.
prove this. I have the letters. There's 2 letters that was written. 2 letters.
Okay.
The first letter that was written, they got ignored. Okay? That's the first letter. They wrote the letter to the United Grand Lodge of England.
Mm-hmm.
That
The
they
UGLE.
UGLE.
Okay.
That they may practice the York Rite side of Masonry. They wrote them a letter asking them to practice. They needed the extra.
But the UGLE didn't used to.
No, they did not.
They didn't use to respect.
Not. They hated. Well, I ain't gonna say
they
hated. They
it was spurious to them.
Yes, it was bogus.
Okay,
absolutely.
Right. Okay, I'm sorry.
Now, what happened is that when the United Grand Lodge of England did not pay that letter any attention, they got another letter. That letter said, "You know what? Forget it. We're done with you. We're gonna do our own thing." That's the second letter. That's the letter of 1747.
Okay.
1747. That's that famous letter that everybody likes to pull up. But there was actually two letters that was written. Okay? Actually, two letters that was written.
Okay.
Now, let's go on to 1786. All right? 8 more degrees was added, bringing the total to 33rd. Recognized took place 8 more degrees added and name change to ancient accepted Scottish Rite Freemasonry. Okay.
So in 1786, they added the 8 more degrees.
8 more
from
degrees.
The 25 that was running around. So in 17,
they were selling those 25.
So in 1721 and 1725, they was on that old, I'm gonna say, spit shine bullshit. Excuse my English.
Go for it.
But it was 25 degrees that they was playing with. But
Right.
in 1786, they added 8 more.
They added 8 more.
And it's the last.
It's the last degree, baby.
That means you can't progress no
more.
more.
Well, I tell you what, that's what they said. It was the last degree.
So does that mean that means you can't progress anymore?
Oh, brother, they progressed.
They
progressed and didn't tell you that they was progressing.
You ain't got no proof of that.
Bro, I got proof. They progressed and didn't tell you that they was progressing.
Got no proof of that.
Shit, watch and see. So 1804, Supreme Council de France pops up. Boom, 1804.
The Supreme Council, that's Scottish Rite.
Talk to me, somebody.
In
1804 in France, the Supreme Council de France. All right? 1813.
1813.
Guess who pops on the scene? 1813.
Is it
1813.
Is it Black Masons?
No, it's
Is it
not
American
Black
Masons?
Oh no. 1813. Guess who pops on the scene?
Is it?
And this may
Christopher
not.
Columbus was dead.
Hey, this may not even be the right date, but the date that they gave us was 1813.
What? 1813. So what is that 1813 date?
So they say the United Grand Lodge of England was formed in 1813.
Oh. Okay.
They say.
So how does 459 lineage connect to 1813?
It doesn't.
If it existed before 1813.
Because the Premier Grand Lodge of England and the Ancient Grand Lodge of England merged and became a new.
No, you can't do that because they're spurious.
Oh, they merged.
No.
They
They
merged.
The Ancient Grand Lodge is spurious. That means Royal Ark Masonry is spurious.
This is
and
what they did.
clandestine.
They said, look, this is what they said. They said, look, you can have the Royal Arch, but it just can't be part of the first 3 degrees. How about that?
So is that a progression?
They moved it, didn't they? We gonna move.
So why can't PHA and John G. Jones do the same thing that these masterminds are doing? So you mean to tell me they came together?
They did.
The spurious ones, the clandestine ones that don't count, that's not considered to be Masons, teamed up with the ones that. Okay, I'm sorry. Go finish teaching, sir.
All right, I'm just saying. Let me
Is this your opinion?
No,
this is fact.
This is not my opinion at all. I didn't write this. I'm reading what was given to me, what was shown to me, what was shared with me. Okay?
What?
I'm just saying.
I mean, Royal Ark is bogus. According to the Premier Grand Lodge,
According to the Premier Grand Lodge.
So the Premier Grand Lodge and the Ancient Grand Lodge became together and formed a brand new entity?
Yep.
So when they formed that new entity, does that mean as a new entity, does the Premier Grand Lodge and Ancient Grand Lodge still exist, or are they now dead?
Well,
because they formed a new entity. I'm asking.
They're dead.
They're dead?
They're dead.
But they formed a new organization.
Formed a new organization.
But 459 says they say that 459 is connected to the United Grand Lodge of England.
459 is nowhere near connected to the Grand Lodge of England. It was.
There's no way, but that's what everybody says.
But that's not true. They was only connected to one, and that was Premier Grand Lodge.
Brother Muhammad, you're just running around here lying.
When the Premier Grand Lodge of England said, look to the ancients, and the ancients said, look to the Premier, and they joined together, it was a wrap.
So that's a new entity. That's a new company. But basically, in other words, you mean to tell me it's like Sprint and T-Mobile?
That's right.
So that means Sprint must be dead. Sprint's
they
not
call
dead,
it,
though.
But you know what it's gonna be. One of them gonna have to die.
But if they change their name, that means both of them are what?
Gone.
No way.
New name, baby. New name.
So that means that 459 is not connected to the United Grand Lodge of England.
No, sir. It's
by
not.
no way, shape, or form.
No way, shape, or form.
But they're connected by historically old organizations that formed a new organization.
Correct. The Premier.
Okay.
So if you want to throw the Premier and say, yeah, they are connected to Premier Grand Lodge of England, but when the Premier and the ancients got together, it was a wrap for everybody.
But the Royal Ark was really considered to be spurious.
Yes. Until they say, look, you can take that and add it to the York Rite side of Masonry. Oh, yeah, they added that to the York
So they used to take, the ancients used to take the Royal Ark and make Master Masons through the Royal Ark. Only.
Yes. Only.
Teach, brother. Teach, brother. I hope you don't get ran through the coals.
Well, I shouldn't. This is just information I have. I'm just sharing. I'm just sharing.
So this is not your opinion.
This is not my opinion. I'm just giving it to you as I got it. All right.
Okay.
All right. So check this out. 1847. Remember I was telling you about 1847?
Yeah.
When they wrote the letter, they said, "Hey, PHA." Yeah. No, not even PHA. Prince Hall Mason. Period.
Okay, Prince Hall Mason. Okay.
Yeah.
So
and I don't think it was Prince Hall Mason at the time. I think it was just colored Masons.
Okay. So what did they form in 1847?
The National Grand Lodge.
Oh, so all the color boys came together.
All the color boys.
That was what they were trying to do in America, and they tried it 2 or 3 times and failed.
They did.
The white Grand Lodge.
The white Grand Lodges in the United States wanted to come up on a national body.
But the color boys did it.
The color boys did do it.
And what was it called?
It was called the National Grand Lodge.
Okay. All right. Okay.
That's what it was called.
Teach, brother.
And white Grand Lodges wanted to do it. They did. If you don't believe me, get yourself a Coors Masonic Encyclopedia 1961. That's the best one out there. And it tells you how they tried. And they tried again.
Tried twice.
And it didn't happen.
You know, I hear George Washington was supposed to be the first national Grand Master for the white boys, and it failed. And he said, why would I want to be the first national Grand Master when I can be the president?
Ooh.
But that's another story.
That is another story, isn't it? All right, so we're going to take a look at 1847 to 1877. Okay? National Grand Lodge rights.
Right. So what are you talking
about?
What, you mean York Rite, Scottish Rite?
Let me tell you this. The National Grand Lodge had their own Masonic rites.
Right, yeah. Scottish Rite, York Rite.
No,
right?
Brother. No,
What
brother.
What are you talking about
no.
when you say rights? You like 2 rights, 3 rights? What are you talking about?
How
many different rights did they have?
Man, they had 16 different rights.
Get the hell out of here.
16. Brother.
The National Grand Lodge accepted rights?
Had 16. And they wasn't Scottish rights.
Was it York Rite? Was York Rite one?
York Rite was the first.
Oh. So what was the second? Scottish Rite?
Man, French.
Hold on, wait.
Look, I'm serious.
So it wasn't Scottish Rite?
No, man, look.
It was the French Rite?
Look, the National Grand Lodge, as we know it.
They had 16
them
different
black
rights.
boys, them brown boys, them Negroes, however you want to put them. They had their own Masonic rights.
16 of them?
16 of them. They weren't Scottish. They had the York Rite, the French, or what they call modern rights. And then guess what they added to that?
What?
The third rite was the Scottish Rite. Ancient except the Scottish Rite was the third rite. Then they went on with the philosophy Scottish Rite. Primitive. They even had primitives.
The primitive rite?
Man.
But that's supposed to be clandestine.
No, look. The National Grand Lodge was practicing
that was an
primitive
actual
rite.
Okay, well, you said 16 though.
Oh yeah.
That's only
So
5.
look, there's the ancient Reform Rite.
What the hell is that?
The ancient Reform Rite.
Okay.
That was 6th degree. And what's this? Fierceless Rite? Fess.
Fessler.
Fessler Rite. Okay, bruh. They had these rites that they was practicing.
Okay.
All right. Then the 8th degree, they said the rites of the Grand Lodge of 3 Global Berlin. I don't know what that is.
Damn.
But it's a rite. It was a practice rite.
Okay.
All right. The rites of perfection was the 9th degree. The rites of Mizraim.
No. Get the fuck
Man,
out
let
of
me
here.
tell
Ain't
you.
that 96 degrees?
That's the 96th degree.
Oh,
we
it's
was
some
on
do
point.
99?
Look, bro, we was on
I
point
thought you shut
already.
it down at 30,
Man,
33.
look, I'm telling you,
I thought
we was
33 in the last right.
oh, boy, you're killing me. We was already on point. The idea
next
is, look,
That was under the National Grand Lodge in
the
the
National
second?
Grand Lodge.
Oh, okay.
We black boys, we Negroes. We was doing the thing. We had our own rights. We weren't following them. We had our own.
So that's all the rights
shit.
they had?
Brother, no. Let me go on down some more.
Okay.
So of course, we had the rights of perfection. The rights of Mizraim was the 10th degree. The 11th degree was the rights of the Order of Temple. All right. The 12th degree was the Swedish rite.
Those are right. The 12th rights, you mean?
Yeah, the 12th was the Swedish rights, and then we had a Reform rite, and I don't know what this
Was
one.
it the Schroeder right?
Schroeder's right, and rights of Swedenborg
Okay.
was the 15th degree, and then the
Zemmendorf?
16th was the rights of Zemmendorf.
Zemmendorf, I don't know what that is. They had
Man, we had our own rights.
Yeah, so that's why. Okay, so that's why the white guys didn't respect us, because they was doing Scottish Rite, New York Rite only, right?
Yeah, but we had 16 other rights.
So the white guys wasn't doing nothing, and they wasn't doing all that. were they?
Wait. This is what
You mean tell me white masons was only doing 2 rights and we was doing them 16?
check this out, and thank you for pointing this out. Check this out, man. I'm gonna need, man. You're gonna pour me some. God, give me some ice. I'm telling you, because this is, whew, maybe I need to turn the fan on, but I'm all right. Don't turn it on. I may cold. I may freeze down a little bit. But anyway, so check this out. So the other Masonic degrees, these are other Masonic degrees that was being practiced by white Masons. Being practiced by white Masons, but they didn't tell you about this. They was practicing, and they may still, they call them college degrees now. All right, this is what they had. They had the ancient primitive rites. They had the Illumination Rite, the English Rite, the French rites, the Italian, that's Italian symbolic rites, the national Mexican Rite.
Hold on, wait a minute. The Scottish Rite, New York Rite, stop that.
Bruh.
They were only doing 2 rites for the Grand Lodge Estate.
Bruh, no.
It was only 2 rites at Grand Lodge Estate. There was no way that they were doing anything other than York Rite or Scottish Rite, right?
Bruh.
There's no way.
Bruh.
There's no way.
Bruh. See, y'all gonna drive me.
They're doing York. They only did York Rite and Scottish Rite.
No.
They didn't do no Memphis rites.
Let me repeat this. The other degrees that they was practicing that they didn't tell you about.
Who? Talking about the Grand Lodge of
I'm talking
England?
about what we call mainstream Grand Lodges.
What was they doing?
This is the
York
rites that they
Rite?
were practicing, bruh. They was practicing the ancient and primitive rites,
The primitive rites?
bruh. They was practicing illumination rites,
What?
English rites, French rites, Italian symbolic rites, national Mexican rites. Even the Mexicans had their own degree rites.
What? You talking about
Bruh, I'm telling you what they was doing.
Grand Lodge Estate? Not the Black Masons, right?
Not the Black Mason, Grand Lodge Estate.
So is that all the rites they were doing?
No. Then they had what they call the primitive Scottish rites.
Primitive Scottish Rite? But it was the 33rd and the last degree that was shut down.
Well, brother, they also had what you call ratified Scottish rite.
The rectified Scottish Rite?
Then they had the rites of adoption, the rites of Baldwin, the rites of Memphis Mizraim.
No way. No way. No. That's those black guys.
No.
Those are the black guys doing that right. They did it right too.
They had the
so
rights
it was not
too.
a black thing. It was not a white thing. It was a Masonic thing.
It was a Masonic thing.
and
Absolutely.
it was still being practiced. So it wasn't York. Okay, I'm sorry. So is that all the rights?
No, brother. They got some more down here. The rites of strict observation. I am familiar with that rite.
Get the hell out of
The
here.
rites of strict observation, Scottish Rite, Shorter Rite, Swedish Rite, York Rite, also known as American Rite. Whoa.
They did the York. Okay, they did do York.
They
Told everything
did,
is York, right?
But they did, and they call it American Rite.
Okay, so that's all the rights right there.
No. They got a couple
outta
more.
here.
Then they separated. They separated the rights of Memphis, and then they
The Memphis Rite?
Yes, sir.
You talking about the Grand Lodge of States was doing Memphis Rite?
Yes. They separated them both. They have a rights of Memphis and a rights of Memphis, Mizraim.
The Grand Lodge of State was doing the Mizraim. You talking about the rights that go up to the 96 degree?
Yes,
and some
sir.
places they go 99?
Yes.
No way.
Yeah, way. Yeah,
No way.
They were doing it.
You talking about, wait. You talking about the colored Masons, right?
No, I'm talking about the white boys.
Get
no
out of
disrespect, but that's what I'm talking about.
So the colored and the white guys.
Brandon
were doing the
said,
Masons.
what? Oh, yeah, Brandon. I got this information.
Stop.
I got it. I'm
Stop.
reading
Wait
it.
a minute.
This is not, I'm reading it, brother. I mean,
You mean to tell me the colored Masons and the white Masons was doing the Masonic, right?
Yep.
Get out of here. No way.
Yeah.
They were both practicing
they
beyond the 33rd and last degree?
Absolutely.
No way. In
Yeah.
America.
In America. Not only that, okay, now here's the shocker. Ancient accepted Scottish Rite, Crooney Rite.
Oh.
That's a whole nother degree.
What?
Black Masons and white Mason practice that. If you get the book Letro Fremo, he talks about that very degree. How the black
So that's
Masons,
all the rights.
No, I got one more. Well, I think this is what was that? Amity Rite?
Anfron Hiram right. Something like that.
Antron Harriman Wright. Let me spell that for you. I'm going to spell it for you.
Is that the colored Masons playing around?
No, bruh. I'm going to spell this right for you. You probably can look it up. It's ADONHIRAMITE. I want to say Androm Hermetic.
And that's what state right.
Right.
You mean to tell me that the state rights guys was practicing that?
Yep.
All them different rights. So you mean to tell me they run around the 1800s? They just going crazy. Was that a progression of masonry?
It's progressive and it changes.
No, masonry is original and it's from time immemorial. They only been doing it one
changes.
way. No, they only been doing it one way from time immemorial. Oh, you just told me about 30 different rights from the white organizations and the black organizations. That's over 30 rights. Brother Muhammad, that can't be. It's Scottish Rite and York Rite.
No, sir.
Is this your opinion?
Nope.
What about in ladies?
Okay, so
Wow.
check this out. Let's talk about the shrine for a second.
Would you talk about the
Well,
shrine?
talk about the shrine. Okay, 1870 is when the shrine pops off. 1870. 1870 is when the shrine pops off. All right? Order of the Mystic Shrine. That's when it pops off. All right? Now, 3 years later, the Eastern Star pops off. Boom, 1873.
Where was that at? Was that in China? Was that in England? Or where was that at?
Actually, the Eastern Star comes from France. That's where it actually comes from. But when your boy went over there, what's his name? From Mississippi. Not Mackey's. Robert, whatever his name. What is his name? Robert,
Go ahead. We know his name. His name's Robertson.
Okay. Well, anyway, he goes over to France. And he see these women practicing Freemasonry. He said that can never happen over in America. Okay? So what he did when he came back, he rewrote the degrees. And when he rewrote 5 degrees, they didn't go so well. They was like, oh no, we ain't having this.
He did 2 renditions, I heard.
He did, yes, absolutely. Until he turned it over to Mackey's. When Mackey's got a hold of it, Mackey flipped it.
But
and it became more accepted.
He must have, in order for him to be able to write a rite for women in masonry, he must have been a mason for what, 20, 30 years?
No, bro, he was only a mason for 4 years.
Get out of here, man.
He was a
Is
mason.
that your opinion? Get out of here.
This is, hey.
4 years and he wrote a rite for women?
Yes, he
did. The Eastern Star Rite?
Yes, absolutely. You can go look the sources up in there in the
Get out of here. In 4 years?
4 years, bro. 4 years he was a mason.
And he wrote a whole rite.
He wrote a whole rite and gave it to the females. And the reason that he gave it to him because what
He
happened?
only been a Mason for 4 years.
Absolutely.
Back in that day, what it took what? How long did it take to become a master Mason? 3 years?
They say a long time. But check this out. Not only did he rewrite the degree that he got from France and added 5 points, as we know the herons today, he made it a Christian order.
So what if I'm a Muslim and I'm a Mason? That means I can only
He
take my
made
oath and
the OES.
So if my wife, she can only do it on the Bible? And if my wife is not a Christian, but we do believe in the Grand Architect, how does that work?
It depends on what your Grand Lodge Constitution says and how you want it to go.
Well, I know
I'm seeing how they went about it. They was like, oh, you know what? This is what we gonna do.
So he had only been a Mason for 4 years.
He had only been a Mason.
He's still a
for 4
baby.
years.
How long you been a Mason? 2 years? 1 year?
How long I've been a Mason?
Yeah.
Oh, 33 years.
33 years. Ain't your wife an Easter Star?
She is.
And the man who made it was only 4 years.
He had only be 4 years as a Mason.
And
before
Mackey?
he wrote it. Mackey had been there for a while.
Right. But Mackey took it over.
Mackey took it over, and this is the Eastern Star work we practice today. Even though
No
Robert
way.
may be the founder, Mackey is the key behind it. He's
in
the
4
foundation.
years, he don't know nothing in 4 years. How was he able to pull that off in 4 years?
He did.
In other words, he must have got that accepted through the National Grand Lodge body and made it the standard.
I'm just saying, bro.
Wow.
I'm just saying. All right.
They
So
like
check
to
this
run you
out,
of Mason.
man.
Like you run up
I'm
on
just
Mason.
saying. Now, look, 1877. What's so special about 1877? 1877 rolls around. So I went from 1873, 1877. The National Grand Lodge is to have split. They was like, you know what, we can't get along.
No, they died, didn't they?
No, the
I thought they
National
did.
Grand Lodge did not die. They did not die. You cannot close down a body of Freemasons if there are some who still wants to carry it on.
If they were in a coma for 2, 3, 4, let's say they were in a coma, they didn't do no reports for 4 or 5 years. If they don't do nothing for 5 years, they dead, ain't they?
No, they're not dead.
How does that work?
If I don't, if I'm just, it's just like
So
saying
if you're in a coma for 5 years and you come out,
I still exist.
no, you're a totally new person, aren't you?
No, I'm still that same guy. Now
But
I
you
may have
didn't do-
forgotten some shit.
But we don't got
but
no
I'm still
paper.
that
We
same
don't
guy.
have no. We haven't talked to you for 5 years, so that means you will be dead.
No, I'm still here, bro. I ain't got to talk to nobody. I still exist.
Oh, okay.
I'm just saying, I still exist.
Okay. So,
All right.
Okay, I stand corrected.
You stand corrected now? You good? Let's have an understanding.
But the National Grand Lodge is dead.
The National Grand Lodge never, ever shut its doors.
So that means if PHA has lineage to National Grand Lodge, which goes to 459, because it has to happen through the National Grand Lodge. Now, I'm going to just give you a scenario.
Okay.
I'm from the National Compact, which is National Grand Lodge.
Okay.
So if the PHA can claim their lineage to 459, can I do that too?
You would have to, because you have to understand 459, which gets its lineage from the Premier Grand Lodge of England.
That's the UGLE, right?
No, Premier Grand Lodge is not the UGLE. Okay? It is
okay.
not the UGLE.
Okay.
I'm just saying it's not. All right.
But at the time, so the Premier Grand Lodge did not recognize the Royal Ark.
They did not.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Finish on, my brother.
All right. I'm just saying. Now, after that, 1893, my man, John G. Jones pops.
Oh,
he's already on the
he's
scene.
suspended.
Oh
He
man,
ain't
look.
did nothing.
Look, let me tell you.
Can it be asked that he's one of the greatest PHA Masons to ever walk the earth?
He's the greatest black Masons to ever, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Okay. That's
I'll give
just
you
my.
that,
Now,
I'm
that's my
saying-
opinion.
I'm saying because did he used to be considered if PHA existed, would he be considered at one time? Was he PHA?
He was PHA at one time.
Is he the father of the shrine, or is he just a?
He is the it factor for the black shrine.
Okay, so if he used to be a PHA Mason, would he be considered one of the greatest?
He would be.
He would be or considered.
No, hey, I tell you what. You know that book, Letro
Yeah.
Fremont? Get that for me. I want to show you something like that book.
You got some in that book?
Oh, I got some in that book. Grab that book for me. we're going to talk about John G. Jones for a second, because it's funny that he organized the Order of the Eastern Star in 1901. He was so-called suspended from PHA in 1903. Somebody need to explain to me, how is it that you can organize a grand chapter of the Order of the Eastern Star in 1901, be suspended from Prince Hall Grand Lodge in Illinois in 1903? Why wait a whole year? Or was he already gone doing his own thing? Because you have to remember, in 1893 was a shrine. 1869, before that, he was the most puissant sovereign grand commander in 1895.
No, he can't be considered one of the greatest PHA Masons because he's not Jesse Jackson.
Brother, let me show you.
But Jesse Jackson will be greater than him, wouldn't he?
I'm going to share this with you real quick if I can find it. It's in here, because I was reading just a little while ago. It's in here. I'm going to share with you some of the things that he did and that you will find to be very, very interesting.
You talking about John?
I'm talking about John G. Jones, some of the things that he did.
Wasn't he suspended and expelled?
Well, they say he was suspended and expelled, but you know what?
It sounds kind of similar because, like, when I used to be with, like, Smooth Ashler, I had left, and someone had said the rumor that, hey, man, you was suspended. I got a summons a year after I had left one time. If I had been gone a year...
Oh, God. Oh, man,
if I've been gone for a year and I belong to another organization and I left in good standing, do I respond to the summons?
Hey, I'm just saying, if you have the Coors Masonic Encyclopedia, if you have it, it mentions the mere fact that John G. Jones organized Grand Lodges, not just by himself, but they say that the John G. Jones affiliation was organized just like Prince Hall, state by state.
What?
Yes, sir. State by state.
So you mean to tell me before they became the Grand Lodge estate, the organizations that was under the National Grand Lodge system was practicing all those different rites?
They was practicing all those different rites, bro.
Wow. So 3 years before they allegedly broke up, that's when the Eastern Star Order was accepted throughout. So in other words, once the Eastern Star Order was accepted through the Grand Lodge system, the National Grand Lodge system, it became retroactive throughout the United States.
Correct.
Wow. So actually the National Grand Lodge system did some amazing things.
They did.
To birth a lot of standardization.
The National Grand Lodge was the shit. Okay. Period.
But they died, right?
No, bro, they didn't die.
Well, they didn't. They got some years, and they didn't have no reports for some years.
They didn't die. Now, check this out. John G. Jones. Let's look at some of the things that John G. Jones did. All right.
Was he a gambler or something?
Bro, look. The General Grand Council of the Royal and Select Master of the Cryptic Rites was founded by John G. Jones. 1894. Founded by John G. Jones. The National Confederation of Labor of Colored Men of the United States and Canada, 1898, founded by John G. Jones. The International Industrial Association of the World, 1897, founded by John G. Jones. The National Color Soldier and Soldiers Monument and Association of the United States, 1889, founded by John G. Jones.
Is this before he was suspended?
Hey, bro, this is right before. Yeah, this is before. But no, I got some. This is before he was. This is before he was so-called let go.
He's doing
Columbia Cotton Mill Company, 1893, founded by John G. Jones. The National Conference of Colored Republicans. He was a Republican, 1892, founded by John G. Jones. Northwestern Investment Association of Chicago, 1892, founded by John G. Jones. United Brotherhood of Friendship and Sisters of the Mystery 10 was founded by John G. Jones. They merged in 1891. First State Convention of Colored People. First State Convention of Colored People. Okay, temporary chairman, 1883. Decatur Colored Colony, 1883. Stock and Mining Company of Nebraska, okay? Nebraska, that's right, 1884. Progressive Parents Union, Painters Union, 1887.
He founded that too?
Yes, he did. Frederick Douglass Association, 1907. The man was a beast.
1907. So he did all that in about 13 years?
He did all that.
But
from 1894 all the way to 1907.
But all some organizations say is that he just got suspended.
That man was a beast. He was a beast.
So he should be in every.
Oh, and let's not forget the ancient Arabic order nobles of the Mr. Shrine, 1895.
Oh, you even left that out.
Talk back to me, somebody. I'm just saying. The man was a beast. You can say whatever you want to say. The man was a beast, okay?
So from what you laid out today,
I ain't done yet. But go ahead.
You're trying to tell me that Masonry is a progressive science.
Absolutely.
But Masonry shouldn't change.
Masonry is changing before our very eyes.
But
Masonry, hear me clearly.
What do we do with John Batts?
John Bat.
So let me ask you this.
John Bat, who sold a degree to Prince Hall, the man himself, who brought in 15...
John Bat was hustling degrees?
Yeah, John Bat was hustling degrees. He was an Irish, they say, an Irish military lodge, okay? You have, a lodge cannot charter another lodge. You can say whatever you want to say. John Bat initiated Prince Hall. After that, they waited a little while. They brought in the other brothers, okay? Initiated them, all right? They were, and it doesn't even mention the other. One man cannot initiate 14 other men.
Wow.
And all you ever hear about is John Bat in the military law.
Oh, he was by himself.
Damn right he was by himself when he did it.
Check.
Yeah, he got some money for it.
Think he went to the brothel?
He went straight to the brothel. He bought him something. He did. He bought him something. I'm just saying.
That can't be proven though.
Oh, it can be proven. I mean, you know, at that time, man, look, he was with a traveling military lodge. This is the story that's been told over and over and over and over again.
John Bat hustled.
Okay.
He hustled the color mason.
He did hustle the color mason. And then when they found out they got hustled, that's how they wanted to contact the premier Grand Lodge.
Not the UGLE.
Not the UGLE. That's when they contacted the premier Grand Lodge of England, where they got their rights and charter.
So they really don't have no lineage to the UGLE.
They have no lineage to the UGLE.
So why do organizations say we have lineage and we can show our documented lineage? I'm
gonna say this: Prince Hall Grand Lodges have no connection to the UGLE as we know it today. Their connection starts with Premier Grand Lodge of England. That came along before the ancients.
Which means that the Royal Art was a spurious / bogus degree?
Yes. According to the Premier.
According to the Premier Grand Lodge.
Right.
Which teamed up with the ancient Grand Lodge and became the UGLE.
Yep.
So they had a certain sect, which is the Royal Art, was bogus, and because they said it was everything's all good, now it's all good.
That's what they say.
So, which means that what about the Masonry and all this and all these other degrees? So everybody said that those degrees don't exist and can't go over
those
and laugh
degrees,
about that. How is that? I'm asking, how's that any different from the Premier accepting the Royal Art? I'm just asking.
Look, the fact of the matter is that those degrees have always existed. What has happened is because a lot of us are stuck over here in America and never experienced, never heard of. So when those degrees are presented to you, it's like, wow, it can't be. No, we only got 33. That's because you don't go nowhere. And when somebody presents you with something, you're shocked. You're like, well, damn, really? Yes, really. These things do exist. Thornton A. Jackson had his 96.
So, Brother Muhammad, let me ask you this. I hear that you and there's a group of guys that's willing to take Masonry to a new elevation.
Oh, we're going to take Masonry to a new elevation.
You can't do that.
Look,
Masonry's not a progressive science.
Look, I'm telling you this. As long as I got breath in me, my objective as a Mason is to take it to another level. Beyond this meager, I'm a this and I'm a that.
So you talking about just San Francisco only?
Nah, bro, I'm talking about, and look, if you only going to think about where you at when you're trying to grow, you're lost already.
So you trying to take Masonry
Here's what I know.
beyond San Francisco?
Here's what I know. I do know that Dr. Clark, all right, had been initiated into what we would call the Egyptian rites because he went over to Africa and got initiated. This is a known fact into those rites. The process is how come we don't practice our own rites?
Is it time for that?
Bruh, Masonry is progressive. As you can see, as the information that I have before me, we know that they have switched up some things. We know they changed things. We know they did all of these things. But yet, when somebody try to present something to the Black Masons and show them, hey, you know, this has already existed.
You know, they got to get permission from the UGLE, don't they?
You don't need permission from the UGLE. They always switch the strip. Who gave them permission?
Yeah, but...
No, I don't want to hear. Who gave the UGLE permission?
But they say they're the first, the original.
They didn't say that.
Change. Now you can't make no more changes, right?
The UGLE didn't say that they was the it factor. We gave them that. And when I say we gave them that, people in the Masonic world gave the UGLE that title, the mother. They ain't the mother. As we just seen, before they even came along, there were other degrees.
But they did write the mother out.
They did write the mother out.
But not them. The Premier
Grand
Lodge.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
The Premier Grand Lodge wrote the mother out.
The Premier Grand Lodge did write the mother out. They did. I liked that. Yeah, they wrote the mother out. The Premier Grand Lodge of England wrote the women out of Freemasonry.
So if Masonry, you're saying Masonry is a progressive science, or
It
it's
is,
not?
absolutely.
So, Brother Muhammad, so let me ask you this question. Where do we go from here? Do we write some new chapters, or do we only stick on the history books?
You write new chapters. You move forward. Because like I said, Masonry as we see it today is changing before our very eyes.
Are you going to be at the forefront of that, or are you going to be...
I'd rather be driving than to be on the bus.
So you trying to
well,
tell
wait a
me...
minute. I can be on the bus too. I don't have to drive. I can be on the bus too.
So you're telling me you're going to be part of a new John G. Jones type group that's...
I wouldn't necessarily say new. I would say a progressive. I would say progressive. I won't say new. I say progressive.
So progress means that for the age and the times, it's time for us to make some changes.
Absolutely. It's time to stop allowing people to dictate to you who you are, what you should study, what you should not study. It's time. You want to ride?
We don't call Uber. Y'all busy. It's okay.
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah.
She said we didn't call Uber.
I see y'all later.
All right, be safe.
please.
Yeah.
So you mean to tell me there's going to be some things, there's going to be some changes to Masonry?
I'm telling you right now, I've already
But
I'm gonna tell you what I've already did. I've already connected with some brothers over in England. Brothers over in England. Right? I've already contacted some brothers who are part of the mechanics over in England.
The mechanics?
The mechanics.
Ooh, I don't know
Right?
about the mechanics.
And the mere fact that we are now having conversations in regards to Freemasonry and how can we move forward as black men across the pond.
And even non-black men.
Even now, I'm just saying particularly because,
so-
you know, we've always been counted out. I want to count us in now.
So let me ask you this.
Go ahead.
Are we preparing for a new level of Masonry?
We are preparing for a new level of Masonry.
Is this what this lecture was about? Or is it
This lecture was about the mere fact that Masonry is progressive. It never stays the same. It continues to change with the time. And now it's a time for a change. It's time for those who call themselves Masons to really step to the forefront and move this thing forward. It's time for us to unite. And look, The word uniting is not necessarily means that I have to agree with everything you say. Unite simply means to working together towards a greater good. That's all unite means.
So you're telling me it's time to write some new chapters.
Yeah, it's time to write some new chapters. Don't you get tired of reading the same book over and over again?
Yeah, so let me ask you this. Can the significance of the degree survive without the ritual? And can the significance of the degree, so in other words, what I'm saying is, if the oath and obligation to every degree, we know you take an oath and obligation to each degree, right? Can the obligation survive without the oath?
Well, let's look at it from this way. The obligation is to man. The oath is to God.
So in other words, the obligation without the oath, I take it as my opinion is, I'm giving my opinion, the obligation cannot survive without the oath.
Absolutely.
But the oath can survive without the obligation.
Absolutely. Because your oath is to God. Your obligation is to man.
And, okay, so which means I take that, so in a ritual standpoint, if I do a ritual or don't do a ritual, if you talk to me and tell me the significance of the degree that I'm going to make an obligation to the God of my understanding to, that obligation and
It's
oath,
to me. The obligation will be to me.
Right, which to you and God. To you and your God is your understanding.
Correct.
So
and
which
then
means,
the oath at the end, because every time we complete an oath, so more it be. The oath is to God.
Okay, so
the obligation.
Okay,
is
so
to me.
let me ask you this. So what's more important, the ritual or the oath?
The oath.
So can the oath survive without the ritual?
Damn right, the oath can survive.
Can the ritual survive without the oath?
No, it cannot.
Ooh, you ready to have some problems here, baby. You about to have.
It cannot.
So the ritual cannot survive without the oath.
Absolutely.
But the oath can survive
without the ritual. Because the oath is to God. It's to my God, as a matter of fact.
Which is the ultimate alignment of Masonry.
And what do Masons do? Before you invoke anything, before your day even starts, you always invoke the blessings of deity. Every Mason's obligated to do that.
Boy, they about to throw you up out of Masonry.
I'm just saying. I'm going
I'm
to take a look at some of these comments here tonight before I log off. I'm here in Atlanta, man. I'm having a great time. Hey, Travel Light, man. I'm just now coming up on your donation. Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you very much. New Era King, what's going on with you, brother? What's wrong with the Hey, man, I just got some, you know what? It is what it is. Did the UGLE give John G. Jones the authority to open lodges, or he took it upon himself? New Era King, John G. Jones.
Did he need the authority?
He did not. But let me check. I'm going to answer this question. John G. Jones did not by himself organize any lodge or Grand Lodge. Not by himself. People say John G. Jones did that because of who he was or who he is.
Because he had the power. At that time, he had the power.
He had, yes. So a man with his authority and statue, when he steps out and do something, even though there may be other people with him or individuals with him, he's the guy. He's that guy.
Right.
Although John G. Jones he did not serve Grand Master till 3 years later. So you had William Gray, who served as the first Grand Master for St. John's Grand Lodge.
He wasn't even the first Grand Master.
No, he was like the third Grand Master, okay? After St. John's Lodge had been organized, all right? New Era King, that is fine. My circle consists of the most influential men of Africa. Black American men are considered to be boys from people around the world. PHA is a symbolic of the boyhood. Ooh, goddamn, what? I missed that.
Yeah, that's so far up under where
Man,
I am
that,
mentally.
Nah.
I feel like Masonry is about to evolve to a point, not black, white, green, or brown, but it's about a mind state of consciousness. Because operative Masons never seen speculative coming to get them.
No. Operative
They was-
Masons never
They
seen
couldn't read it
speculative
right. They had to
Masons come.
memorize. It was all about operative. You had to have hands on.
Mm-hmm.
And they said, "Hey, brother, I ain't ready to use no gavel, but I can tell you what it means to me mentally.
They could. Look at
Speculative,
Smites.
operative,
If they can.
never seen speculative coming,
No, they did not.
but yet it happened."
Yeah. And I'm going to say this to those who like to come on the page and criticize and say all sorts of things. If you don't like what I'm saying, you know what you can do, right? This is a free world, free country. You can either stay, listen, and get the information, or poof,
Prove
be
us
gone.
wrong.
Hey, yeah,
They
or
need to
prove me
prove you
wrong,
wrong.
or prove me wrong. Yeah.
Every source you have, I know, came from the sources of the people who created those different ones.
Look, the sources I have before me are legitimate sources, plain and simple. There are sources you can go research on your own. You can do the whole thing. I mean, you can go research 1877, the National Grand Lodge. You can go research 1873, the Order of the Eastern Star.
Getting accepted that year.
You can go research 1870, okay? You can also research and find out for yourselves these other degrees that the white Mason practice, but they don't tell you anything about, all right? You can also go research the mere fact that in 1847 to 1877, the National Grand Lodge, us, the black brothers, had our own degree rights and our own. We had 16 different rights that we practiced, all right, of our own. But it was lost.
But we wasn't that different from the Grand Lodge Estate rights, because how many different rights did they have?
They had about the same. Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. They
20
had
different rights?
But this is what they did. They split 2 of the rights up. All right? They split the rights up of Memphis, Mizram, and the rights of Memphis. They split those 2 rights up. But they also practiced those rights together. They call them ancient and primitive rights. And then they switched it up and called them Memphis and Memphis Mizram. So they had 2 rights that they practiced that they split up. And the national Mexican rights, the Mexican brothers down south of the border had their own degrees on how they practiced Freemasonry.
And that was practiced by the Grand Lodge Estate. Those were accepted rights by the Grand
They
Lodge.
was accepted rights by the Grand Lodge Estate at that time. Absolutely they were.
So why are we trying to just shrink everything down to York and Scottish all of a sudden? So it's shrinking everything down to 2 rights. To me, that's not that sounds like a degradation, not a progression.
But that's the process we have in the United States. This is what you know what? Because we try to be so close to our captives, and we want to be so much like them, till we're willing to give up our own to be accepted amongst them. And that's the problem I have. It is not, no, let's just be honest. The Grand Lodge Estate has never done anything to me. Brothers that I know are part of the Grand Lodge Estate has always accepted me and appreciated me. I'm cool with that. It's the idea that those that are look like me, that are around me, change up on me. Be legitimately who you are. You ain't got to switch up on me. But this is what happens amongst us. We're too busy beating each other up till we missing the mere fact that Masonry keep on progressing and passing us up.
So you're saying Masonry is a progressive science?
I'm telling you, Masonry is a progressive science. It changes. The way we see Masonry today, the next 10 years, it would not be the same.
So, Brother Muhammad, let me ask you this question. Because I know nobody will accept women. Would you be willing to take a second look at that? Or is that forever no?
Look, to be totally honest with you,
I'll give you my opinion when you're done.
To be totally honest with you, because of the structure of my Grand Lodge and what we practice in our Constitution, no, I cannot accept a female Mason. Hold on.
Okay.
With that being said, for me, personally, if I'm out and about and a young lady comes to my rescue after I've given that Grand Helen sound and she recognizes that, I am not questioning one damn thing. That's me. Okay, if she comes up to me to render service and assistance in my time of need and distress, or even if she's rendering services and I'm someplace that I need a little help, and she's offering that because she recognizes the compass and square and then identifies who she is, I'm not questioning one thing.
What if she ain't? What if she's not an Eastern Star?
It is what it is, brother.
Okay, I just had to ask. I'll tell you, being the most Poussin of Progressive Global, we have not put in our Constitution to accept women, but I personally do. And that is something I'm going to bring to the council, my council, because women being written out of Masonry was not it was a progression for men.
Right.
But a degression for females. And
okay.
in my opinion, I'm looking to say I'm willing to say I want to take a hard look. If you want to be an Eastern Star, if you want to be a Mason, I am personally willing to accept that. I don't expect people to say that I'm looking at things right.
But that's the thing.
When I
You don't
look at history and I look at the information and I look at the progress. If in 1960, the Grand Lodge of State had 4 million Masons. Take it off there. It's not ready. The Grand Lodge of State had 4 million Masons, right? In 1960. In 2017, the Grand Lodge of State only had 1 million Masons in America. They lost 3 million. In 1919, there were 1 million Masons, and there was about 170 million people. Actually might have been 119 million people in 1717. The fact of the matter is, in 1960 was 4 million Masons for Grand Lodge State. In 2017 there was only 1 million. 1 million Masons is lost.
Wow.
Either we're doing something definitely wrong, or people say, well, we want the best of the best. I believe that's bullshit, but that's my opinion. I believe that at this stage, Masonry right now, we have to look at it as it's a way of life. I respect you and I admire you because of your Masonic values and how you live and how you carry yourself. And you have some people that they're going to be a Mason and they're going to have on a ring, they're going to have something on the back of their car. That's them. I'm not taking nothing from them. And I see a guy like you, and also I pride myself as a guy like me. It's a way of life. Masonry is a way of life. I got a daughter who's an Eastern Star who's been telling me she wants to be a Mason. She's been asking me to send her over to Europe.
Oh, they got them right here. Look. She can come to California. California Grand Lodge of Female Masons. New York Grand Lodge of Female Masons. They're here now. You can't put them under the rug.
She's an Eastern Star. She said, I don't want to be a star, I want to be a Mason. Well, she looked at the history. Look. Now, who am I to tell her that she can't be a female Mason?
Let me tell you this here. Most Hispanic females are Masons.
Wow.
Most Hispanic females are Masons.
And now I don't recognize them. But
they don't
you recognize them?
I just said.
I heard you.
Okay then.
You in distress.
Damn right. I ain't tripping on nobody.
The Grand Helen sign is universal.
Brother, I throw that thing up. That sister pulls over. She got the means of assisting and aiding me.
But that's
she tells me, look,
so are you
I am sister such and such. I'm a member of the California Grand Lodge of Free and Accepted Masons.
So does
female
that make
body.
You bogus?
You can call me a shit crumb if you want to. But I'm taking the help. I'm in distress.
So
I ain't got time.
So if the woman was a part of the craft before we were accepting them and the Premier Grand Lodge wrote them out, who are they to be the dictators to decide?
That's because a lot of times we give people authority. We just give it to them without even questioning why we give them the authority. Like we gave the authority to the Grand Lodge of England in 1717 They called them the Mother Grand Lodge, and they were not the Mother Grand Lodge.
So
They changed the
1717
system.
was the Grand Lodge of England, was it the Premier?
It was the United Grand Lodge of England. It was
In 1717?
1717.
It was the United Grand Lodge, or was it the Premier?
United. The Premier Grand Lodge came along before that.
No, 1717 was
Premier?
Was 1717.
What about the Ancients?
The Ancient was in 17. I think you said 1753.
Okay, so Premier was here before the Ancients. Okay, all right.
Yeah. So
I can
the
go with that.
Ancients, yeah. So the Premier was here. The Premier, what they did was, that's when they start going from speculative.
You're right. The Ancients didn't come
to
around.
speculative.
Right. The Ancients didn't come around to 1751. Premier was before the Ancients.
Right.
Okay. Thank you.
So, right. But the Premier are the ones that initially wrote the women out. Put in the
Right. But before I go any further, Andrew Walker, I want to say thank you. Brother Vincent, I want to say thank you. I appreciate your donations. I really, really do. But I didn't see them until later. I'm flipping through the chat line and I'm seeing them pop up. So I want to say thank you. I appreciate it. Rob Law, before the initial video game and other modern amenities. New Era King, I'm going to say this here. Before there was Prince Hall Masonry as we know it today, they called them colored Masons. It was not known as PHA as we know it until 1944 at the Conference of Grand Lodges. That's when the name actually changed. Before that, there was a Grand Lodge named after Prince Hall and the other brothers. It was called Prince Hall Grand Lodge. Got it. But even before that, it was a colored Grand Lodge. Period. So yes, Prince Hall, as we know it today, PHA were not the first. Okay, Prince Hall, PHA were not the first. All right, it was called colored Grand Lodges. That's what they was under. African Grand Lodge. There was no PHA until later. Okay, just want to share that. It ain't personal, but that's factual. That's history. That's written down. All right.
Okay, so Brother Muhammad, is it safe to say a lot of your findings is not your opinion? These are facts that are stated.
These are their facts. These are their statements. I'm just sharing them with everybody. The information has been shared with me, just giving it. And what the people can actually do is go look it up for themselves, and they'll find it for themselves. You know?
Is there any other questions for Brother Muhammad?
Hey, you know what? I don't have my phone with me, so and nobody can really call in. I don't have my phone with me. But I'm just going through some of the box here.
Man,
Brother Muhammad.
You got so many questions.
Brother Muhammad is all love in Islam, but in the term of Masonry, it's limited. But I will always be there for you, my good brother. Oh, that's cool, bro. You know what? That's what it's really all about. That's really what it's all about.
You got so many questions on there.
I'm just trying to.
You need somebody to go through all your.
Bro, I'm just trying to go through them as I see them. You're entitled to your opinion, but PHA has led
an opinion
and built black communities for 300 years.
300
plus.
years. It
Look,
was no PHA. 300 years. PHA been around for 300 years?
No, PHA hadn't been around for 300 years. African Grand Lodges, brother, has helped build the black community. This is the issue I have.
Who told them PHA been around for 300 years?
This is the issue I have.
Please post that information.
We keep doing this over and over to ourselves like a damn bad dream. Black Masonry is black masonry. We're so hell bent on trying to be next to our captives until we're willing to sell our soul.
PHA been around for 300 years?
No,
That means they've been around
has,
since the 1700s?
Prince
Hall affiliation?
No, Prince Hall affiliation has not been around.
They didn't exist until the 1900s, right?
1944 is when the actual conference of Grand Masters decided to ask every Grand Lodge who wanted to be affiliated with PHA to change it.
Who said 300 years?
New Era King.
I challenge anybody, if you think PHA been around 300 years, please post the documentation so we can look at that and we can review it. That means Prince Hall affiliation had existed before Prince Hall. Wow.
You know,
Wow.
so, but yeah, we really have to.
So that was before Prince Hall made John back. They had existed.
Would John G. Jones be who he was if PHA didn't support and make him a better man? Remember, before being dropped, he was PHA. No, he was.
He didn't get dropped until 1904, but he had already been gone.
Look, yeah, he was already done. Let me explain some, New Era King. John G. Jones was already doing the work before he became a Prince Hall Mason.
How can you suspend somebody that's already gone and a part of a different?
So,
if I join a different organization and I leave John G. Jones and I join John. And that's where I'm at. I left. How do you suspend me from John G. Jones if I've been a part of John?
For one thing,
how does that work?
This is now, this is of my opinion. Hear me clearly. My opinion. The reason John G. Jones wasn't expelled until 1903
Oh, 03, okay.
is because they needed him for the formation of the ancient Egypt order nobles of the Mystery Shrine. They need to have that attachment.
So he is the father of the shrine.
Right.
PHA.
Yes.
Okay.
But not the ancient
Does he get the
Egypt.
credit for it?
They give him credit, but what they do is they say it was up until 1903, and after that he was dead. They consider him dead, but he was already gone, and I can prove the mere fact that he organized the grand chapter of the Order of the Eastern Star in 1901. The Supreme Grand Chapter of the Order of the Eastern Star was organized in 1901.
Okay, so let me ask you this. Where we're going into 2021, everything that happened in the past, we can agree to disagree.
We can agree to disagree, certainly.
Are you willing to be one of the trailblazers
Hey,
to
bro.
write a new path? I'm asking, are you willing to be a trailblazer?
Well, look, if all you're gonna ever do is sit on the porch and talk about what you used to do and how you used to do it, that's where you're gonna be at on the porch. You either gonna get off the porch and make some things happen, or you're gonna stay on the porch and just grow old on the
So
porch.
you're saying you're willing to be
A trailblazer.
You're willing to rewrite history,
Bruh, not rewrite history.
for the age.
Add to it. I ain't gonna rewrite anything. I'm gonna add to it. And the only way to add to it is to build upon what you already know. Take it to another level. Why are people scared to take things to another level? You're scared of change.
Has anybody got any questions for Brother Muhammad? Because he did I believe you did a wonderful lecture on the progressive science of Masonry, and I'm willing to meet with my Supreme Council to talk to them about the progression of Masonry. And I want history. I want to respect history. I want to love history.
You add to it.
Okay. So
You add to it. You can't
that's
change
what I'm
history. It's a done deal. But what you can do, you can add to it. So when the next time chapters are being written, they can say, hey, that guy, you know what? He took it to a whole nother level. Man, look what he did. He took Masonry virtual.
Oh, so you mean tell me we're going from operative to speculative, and we're going from physical to digital?
Yeah. Why not take Masonry virtual?
Put your boots on, guys.
Take Mason virtual. Look,
That's where it's going.
I'm telling you right now, there's already, look, the Grand Lodge of England, I'm going to say this here. As much as you can say whatever you want to say about them, they're already doing virtual lodges.
And you know what's crazy? Because I looked up and I said, okay, you have 4.2 billion people that's on the internet. Out of 6, close to 7 billion, 4.2 billion people have access to the internet.
Yep.
And to only be looking at the physical, are we doing Masonry in a justice to say, Brother Muhammad, I have to know you in the field? Because I met you.
We met on Facebook. We did.
Through digital.
And then we met face to face.
So even though if I don't see you for a year, does it matter?
No. It really doesn't.
because we can meet digitally.
We can. The process. Now, hear me clearly. I believe that there always should be a physical contact in Masonry. I think there should always be a physical contact. Will it always happen? I don't know. But the way things are changing and progressing, a change is coming. You're either gonna get on the bus or you're gonna get left. Still talking about ancient. This is what we did a long time ago.
Ask me if I believe that same question.
Which question is that?
Do I believe in the physical contact?
Do you believe in a physical contact?
I don't give a damn about a physical contact because I've been to so many goddamn lodge meetings and physically I was not even there. Okay?
I can see that.
I've looked at my phone 30 times and said, we need to meet Noah.
Well, you know what?
I'm saying,
you must was in a board lodge meeting.
I've been to quite a few. I've been to some that was quite interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I gave a lot of lectures. I looked at people on their phones, and they were physically there,
but mentally
they were not there.
I see the point.
But I've had lodge meetings where we've had virtual, where we had physical in the virtual, and the virtual guys were more there mentally in that mind state of date and time than the guys that were sitting in the goddamn room.
Like I said, a change is coming. Call it what you want. A change is coming. So look, I'm good, man. I'm gonna go ahead and log off. I hope that those who are here today got something out of this. I'm willing to be a beacon of light for those in need. Help all humanity reach a level of equality and tolerance. New Era King, that's well put. As a past master, must assist the new wishful master because the seat ain't no joke. Absolutely. Oh my God, something better left unsaid. Oh yeah. So look, everyone, I want to thank you for tuning in. Thank you for joining me. I appreciate this guy right here. You know,
this guy right here, man.
We had a good time. I'm gonna have to hit the road. I got two more stops to do, and we're gonna make it do what it do.
Can we do something this weekend before you leave out?
You know what? We'll hook it up this weekend before I leave back out.
Brother Muhammad, he got a home when he come to Atlanta between me and my dad. If he stay at a hotel, we're gonna have a problem with him. That's family.
That's what it is. So look, I'm out. As always, stay out the bushes, keep your light on, and whatever you do, the higher you climb, the clearer the vision. I'm out.
Thank you, Most Poussin.
Appreciate it.